Tom Brady sends message to Buccaneers QB Baker Mayfield. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking to establish themselves as dark horse contenders for this season's Super Bowl championship. They won close games against the Atlanta Falcons and Houston Texans to start 2-0, and quarterback Baker Mayfield is once again playing fine football. If nothing else, the Buccaneers should end up finishing first in the NFC South for the fifth straight year. The division is rather weak, and unless the Falcons somehow put together an impressive extended run, Tampa Bay should win it hands down. Retired legendary quarterback Tom Brady, who is now a Fox NFL commentator, as well as a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, reminded Mayfield that the team's streak of NFC South titles is one they own together. GOAT. Read more. Tom Brady was seen in Raiders' coaching booth during Chargers game. Brady, of course, made his way to Tampa Bay in 2020 after 20 seasons with the New England Patriots amidst a much-publicized feud with then-Patriots head coach Bill Belichick. In his very first season with the Buccaneers, he led them to the World Championship with a resounding 31-9 victory in Super Bowl 55 over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't win their division that year, but the following season, they began their current streak of finishing on top of the NFC South. Mayfield was the #1 overall pick in the 2018 draft by the Cleveland Browns, and he was immediately hailed as the savior for the long-suffering franchise. But he didn't put it all together in his 4 seasons there, and he was branded as unreliable and a malcontent. The Browns traded him to the Carolina Panthers in the 2022 offseason, and he came to the Buccaneers a year later. Since then, he has become his best self. He has made the Pro Bowl and thrown for over 4,000 yards in both of the last 2 seasons, and last year, he completed 71.4% of his pass attempts and threw 41 touchdown passes, which was tied with Lamar Jackson for the second most in the NFL. So far this year, Mayfield has thrown 5 touchdown passes and no interceptions. While the team's offensive line is banged up, rookie wide receiver Emeka Egbuka has shown some spark with 3 touchdown receptions so far. For more on the Buccaneers and general NFL news, head over to Newsweek Sports. When Tom Brady walked away from football, officially, decisively, and without the faintest hint of a return, it marked the end of a dynasty, a reign that stretched across New England and Tampa Bay. But as with any legend whose shadow still looms over a franchise, his presence has never truly faded. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were catapulted from middle-of-the-pack mediocrity to Super Bowl champions under his leadership, Brady remains both a benchmark and a ghost. And into that enormous shadow walked Baker Mayfield, the fiery former first overall pick who has had more homes in his young career than Brady did in 2 decades. Mayfield, equal parts underdog and lightning rod, now finds himself the man under center for a team that once had the greatest of all time. It's not an easy inheritance, like taking the stage after Sinatra. So when Brady recently sent a message directly to Mayfield, equal parts encouragement, mentorship, and a subtle challenge, it sent shockwaves across the league. The message that mattered. Insiders close to the Buccaneers reported that Brady, never one to grandstand publicly unless he has to, reached out privately to Baker with a note that blended warmth with intensity. The essence of his words, according to those familiar, was simple. Block out the noise, trust your preparation, and never forget why you play. Tampa loves winners, but they respect fighters even more. Be both. Short. Direct. The kind of message Brady himself might have tattooed on his soul during his improbable rise from 6th-round afterthought to NFL immortal. And for Mayfield, this wasn't just a text. It was a lifeline, a seal of approval, and perhaps even a mantle being passed down. Baker Mayfield's journey, from hype to humility. Before we can understand why Brady's words resonate, we need to appreciate the path Mayfield has taken. Baker's career has been a roller coaster of extremes. He arrived in Cleveland as a savior, the fiery Heisman Trophy winner tasked with lifting the Browns out of the abyss. And for a moment, he did. The 2020 season, capped by a playoff win over the Steelers, seemed to signal the dawn of something new. But football is cruel. Injuries mounted. Coaching changes muddied the waters. And the Browns, ever restless, moved on from him for the siren song of Deshaun Watson. What followed was a humbling tour: Carolina, where the offense sputtered; Los Angeles, where he delivered one magical comeback win on Thursday Night Football but remained a stopgap; finally, Tampa, a city Brady transformed, but also a city wary of pretenders. Mayfield knew the narrative. He wasn't Brady. He wasn't supposed to be the long-term answer. He was the bridge quarterback, the guy you rent while you shop for the future. And yet, something about Tampa clicked. The Brady standard in Tampa. The Buccaneers will never forget the 2020 season. The images are immortal. Brady holding the Lombardi Trophy under confetti in Raymond James Stadium. The iconic boat parade with the quarterback gleefully tossing the trophy across the water. But Brady's impact went beyond hardware. He changed the culture. He demanded discipline, accountability, and relentless belief. Veterans bought in, rookies grew up fast, and the organization itself began to expect more of itself. When Brady left, there was a vacuum, not just in talent, but in tone. And this is where Mayfield has both struggled and thrived. Baker doesn't lead like Brady. He isn't stoic, surgical, or obsessively guarded. He's fiery, demonstrative, sometimes reckless. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, for better or worse. But what he does share with Brady is an unshakable chip on his shoulder. Brady was forever the overlooked sixth-rounder. Mayfield, despite his draft pedigree, has been forever dismissed as too small, too loud, or too inconsistent. Both men have built their careers around silencing critics. That shared DNA is what made Brady's message land with such force. Mayfield's response. Those close to Mayfield say the quarterback lit up when Brady's words arrived. It wasn't just about validation, it was about connection. Baker's not trying to be Tom, one Buccaneers staffer noted. But he respects the hell out of what Tom built here. Getting that kind of message is like having the blueprint passed down, not the plays, but the mindset. Mayfield himself has publicly acknowledged the difficulty of following in Brady's footsteps. You don't replace Tom Brady, he once said. You just write your own story. But writing your own story doesn't mean ignoring the lessons of the man who wrote the greatest one of all. A tale of two mindsets. Brady's advice, block out the noise, strikes especially deep for Mayfield. If there is one player in the NFL who seems to thrive on noise, it's Baker. He's jawed with opponents, snapped back at media, and fueled himself on slights both real and imagined. Yet the very thing that gives him fire also risks consuming him. Brady's greatness was his ability to absorb doubt and turn it into cold, unshakable confidence. He was never rattled, never overexposed emotionally. Mayfield, in contrast, burns hot, and sometimes too hot. This is where Brady's message becomes almost fatherly. Control the flame, don't let the flame control you.